Okay. This plant keeps getting stuck in my hair. Let go. Let go. Disrespectful. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Koa and this is Koa's Plant Corner on YouTube. So today we're going to continue my Koa's Plant Care series, and today I'm going to be talking about a plant that I actually initially bought as a cutting. That plant is probably one of the few plants that I have that I did not buy as a full plant. I bought it as an unrooted cutting, and honestly it was my first time rooting a plant like this. So let me just show it to you so we can go start with this video. Okay, this plant is actually the first of its kind, and it's a philodendron. So I have a lot of vining philodendrons, like my micans. I have pothos. I have a lot of different vining plants. I have hoyas, whatever. But for philodendrons, I didn't have a philodendron that actually climbed instead of vine. So with the vining philodendrons, you can put it up a pole and then it becomes a climbing plant. In nature, it does climb on top of, or it climbs against trees. But this plant here, this one can't vine. It's more of just an only climbing plant. So let me just show you what it is before I just go off into a tangent. This is my Philodendron Red Emerald. I think they call it Red Imperial Emerald or Red Emerald Imperial, but I'll put the correct name on the screen. But this is her. This is the bottom pot. I do have it in this very bad cover pot situation here, but this is the leaves. These are the leaves. It currently has 6 leaves. I can't count. It currently has 6 leaves on her, and this leaf here, come give you a hand comparison. This leaf here and this leaf here were the 2 original leaves that it came with since it was a cutting. Okay, so before I get into this plant, just like the other videos, I'm going to give you 4 categories that most plant people use to care for their plants. So these categories, again, these are all in my opinion and based on my environment for my plants. The care that I have for this plant may not work in your environment for your plant, but this is what works in my environment for my plant. Okay, I hope that's not weird or me being mean, but that's just the way it is. The first one is lights. So I'm going to talk about whether I have this plant under a grow light or not, and I'll explain to you a little bit of the past with this plant for the lighting. Water, so how I water it, how often I water it, and what I put in the water. Thirdly, we're going to talk about the pot it's in. And fourthly, we're going to talk about the soil. Okay, so for lighting, I originally had this plant actually on my nightstand, and it was getting artificial light from my grow light. It's actually behind the camera, but I'll just show a little bit of a clip, maybe, I don't know. But that's where it was before. I didn't have a problem with it there per se, but underneath my nightstand I have this makeshift propagation station situation, and I had a grow light there, and I felt like this bottom leaf here, you can kind of tell by how it's situated. This bottom leaf here kept bending down toward the grow light, and I hated the way it was looking. So I actually removed it from the situation, so that now the only form of light that it gets is from my southwestern facing window, and it sits actually right behind me. It sits right over here. And now that it only has one source of light, the leaves are now facing the direction of the window, so now they're all in one direction, which is really cute. I think I like the way this looks way better than before. Before, the leaves were all facing upward because the grow light was right above it. So I like the way this looks way better. Look at that. And it only started as a 2-leaf cutting. It's crazy. Anyway, so for water, I water this maybe about, I'm very cautious with the water, so I would say once every 2 weeks, depending on how it looks. So I find that with this plant, the philodendrons like this, you have to be very cautious with the water. And I have a tendency of being too cautious, and I tend to underwater it. But I water this currently about once every week and a half, once every 2 weeks the most. I do not go over that because I don't want to risk the roots drying out at all. But I water this with fertilizer, fish emulsion, chelated iron, some super thrive, and also a little bit of mosquito bits in the water to help deter the fungus gnats, and they work. It works. It likes it. It's happy. Okay, now for soil. So this soil mixture that I have here was actually the first time me doing this, so it did take a lot of trial and error with this. So the soil that it's in, let me just pull it out of here. It's actually in a orchid bark. Can you see that? Okay, great. So it's actually in an orchid bark situation. I'm just gonna tilt it over a little bit. So the soil is actually made up of maybe 80% orchid bark, and then I have some perlite there, a handful of perlite, and some regular soil there just to help retain some of the water. And I did put in a little bit of sphagnum moss just to help the plant retain a little bit of water when I do water it. But it's very, very airy. It's a very airy mixture. When I water it, water kind of just falls through automatically because it's very airy. It's also why I really try not to have this plant dry out at all. So just to do that. And the reason for that is that philodendrons, they really do appreciate a more airy soil mixture. So I was not playing when I gave this plant an airy soil mixture, but that's what it's in right now. It's literally all orchid bark on top, and then the bottom has a very like a mixture of the both with it, with some sphagnum moss. And so far it's doing fine. It's doing well in there, and before I had it in soil, I did root the cutting in sphagnum moss. Okay, so for pot, you can kind of see the pot it's in right now. So I have this cashpo, or this cover pot. It's a ceramic, like a kitchen pot that you put like spoons in. And then this is actually in a clear pot. It's in a clear pot so I can monitor the roots. Like I said, at the time, this is my first ever climbing philodendron, so I was not playing any games with it. I did not want it to rot on me at all because I am an overwaterer and I tend to overwater a lot of my plants. So to contradict that, to counteract that, I use a very airy soil mixture. And yeah, that's it for that. Also, the plastic pot, just like the same thing as a nursery pot, the plastic pot will help it to retain a bit more or even more moisture than if it was in a terracotta pot. I would never put a philodendron into a terracotta pot with this soil mixture. That's like a recipe for disaster for me. Even though I am an overwaterer, I'm slowly training myself to not overwater my plants and to not over care for them. So with this plant, I think it would literally probably die. And that's it for this plant. It's kind of sad. I want to talk about it more. But let me just show you some cool things about this philodendron. The stems here, can you see that? We'll let it focus. Cool. The stems here are like a bright, so let's say behind this leaf here, it's like almost like a blood red color here, and that runs all along the length of the leaf. And then the actual little sheets here, when they come out very pink. It's super cute. This is the newest leaf here. It actually unfurled today. So normally for cuttings, the plant will give off smaller leaves before they become bigger. So I'm waiting, and I can't wait to chop it up and then propagate it again, because it was just so fun watching the roots grow. And I did have it in my greenhouse prior, but I did recently take it out because I'm actually running out of space in my greenhouse. Believe it or not, I am running out of space. I put my anthurium in there, my anthurium bullatus, and it's just taking up all the space. So you can kind of see here, hopefully you can see here, the aerial roots that's happening. It kind of just started to push out these aerial roots. So those roots kind of tell me that, hey, I'm ready to be put into some soil, or I'm ready to be air layered or something. So that's what's cool about this plant. I like the red color in the back of it. It's very cool. And you can put this up a moss pole. Right now I have it on a bamboo stick here, one of these green bamboo sticks, but in a little bit I will be putting it on a moss pole so that it can latch on and start giving me some bigger leaves. And also, if you see me doing this when I'm touching it, this plant has, it gives off extra floral nectarines, which is, I don't know what it does, or, oh, I think in the wild or in nature, it gives off the sticky substance so that ants can come to it and just kind of protect the plant from any pests and stuff like that. So I don't know if you can even tell the leaves. Let me try to zoom in on that or focus in on that if my camera would allow me. Okay, so some of the leaves have these weird little spots. You can kind of see, yep, over here. It's very sticky. It almost feels like maple syrup when you touch maple syrup with your fingers. Even if you try to wipe it off in your pants, whatever, it still has a little bit of a sticky substance, a sticky feel to your finger. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this plant. How cute is it? I love it. And just before I end off this video, I purchased that philodendron as a test trial. So I wanted to get into more uncommon philodendrons. So I bought this cheap cutting. I think it was a cutting, I think I paid, I want to say $13, no more than $20 for those 2 leaves. If you want to get into philodendrons and you just want to have a bit of a test trial before you start buying $80, $90, $100 philodendrons, I think the emerald red is a good option, as well as the emerald green is a good option. Anyway, thank you all for watching once more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so that you will be notified on when I upload next. And in between some of these series, I will have an entertaining video. It'll just pop up, I don't know. It'll be random, like my random IKEA greenhouse video, but it'll be something fun, and I hope you guys enjoy my content. Thank you for supporting my channel, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.